Welcome to another episode of the Love and Reality Podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, I am going to break down episode 9 of the Ultimatum Queer Love. We have reached the final episode before the reunion. And folks, it is a jam-packed episode that I cannot wait to discuss with each of you. Before we dive in, make sure to go back and listen to episodes where I break down each episode of this season of The Ultimatum. It's been fantastic. Episode 22 was me breaking down episodes 1 and 2. Episode 23 was breaking down episodes 3 and 4. Episode 24, 5, and 6. Episode 25 was 7 and 8. And of course, today I'm going to break down just episode 9. It is Ultimatum Day. And then, of course, on Friday, you'll be able to hear my thoughts on episode 10, The Reunion, which is, holy cow, is it heated as ever. Definitely interesting to see your guys' thoughts. Make sure to head on over to Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at @RickyValera_, where I will chat with you guys about your thoughts on the Ultimatum Queer Love. I'm excited to dive right into episode 9. Obviously, at the end of episode 8, we left off with Mal proposing to Yoli, and I am clearly shocked that Mal said yes. Like, yes. She tells her that she's always wanted her and thought it would be so much harder. She asked if she only saw her. This is the question that I love that she asked her in this moment was it the only reason she proposed was because her back was against the wall, was because of Xander being there and threatening that future that they had, come there to kind of really, solidify. But Mal said she is ready to move forward and create the life that they want and she wants. Yoli said it's been hard to figure out who to choose, and she would have explored life with someone else. Mal said she's been always respectful of Xander's feelings. Mal said she didn't want to have to continue to fight for her, but Yoli said she wouldn't have said yes if she wasn't capable of walking out of this together. Yoli looks, I tell you what, no matter what you say here, when you watch Yoli in this moment, you're watching somebody that, like, she's not even 100% sure, like, she made the right decision here. Like, if that's where I'm at with this whole entire thing, is Yoli, you see this throughout this episode, is like Yoli is like 30% convinced she made the right decision, or maybe even 60-40, and I don't know what side 60 and I don't know what side's 40. But it's crazy to see what, again, me knowing what happens in the reunion, but I'm not going to dive into that quite yet. But it's definitely interesting to see what their future has in store post the Ultimatum. It's Mildred and Tiff time. Mildred does say, leading up to the meeting, that if she doesn't propose, she's ready to walk away. They are on this beach-like setting overlooking the ocean. Tiff said this experience allowed her to put her heart and soul on the line. She has learned a lot. Tiff says there has been a lot over the last 2 years. A lot of the time she was not there for her over the last 2 years and apologizes for that. Mildred said being in a trial marriage was hard, but she learned so much about herself and this relationship in that process. She said she loves her and loves her unconditionally. She's afraid that Tiff might not love her unconditionally. Tiff said it was, a hard time. It was a bit of a shit show, but she's grateful for this experience. Tiff says a bunch of words about loving her and caring about her, yada, yada, yada. Tiff gets down on one knee and proposes to Mildred, who says yes. Like, this is crazy to me. Honestly, these two don't really surprise me. They are hot and very hot and cold. Like, very, very, very hot and cold. Like, it's kind of traumatizing how hot and cold these two really are, because they fight a lot. You know what I mean? A lot. And it's kind of weird to see them just kind of be like, all right, well, we voted a lot. Let's get married. You know what I mean? Like, I do find it interesting to kind of see that type of thing throughout this entire episode. So good for them, right? Good for them. I don't really know what else to say. It's definitely another one of those couples that I'm intrigued to see what happens, because they're so hot and cold. I can't see how this works long term, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past, and I'll be wrong again, and that's just part of life. You know what I mean? And we move on to Ozzy and Sam now. It is their turn to say yes or no, or get engaged or don't get engaged, or all the above. So we're going to dive into them. Ozzy said going into the proposal time that she's very scared about what is about to happen. Sam says she's really come far in her personal journey. They have things they have to deal with, and unsure if Ozzy is what she needs in her life. I'll tell you what, Sam and Ozzy to me have probably been the individuals that I thought have grown almost the most. I think I'm almost the most in this show, but I think maybe they've grown the most as a couple, like as two people on this show. I feel like they're the ones that grew together more than anything. Like they kind of learned a lot about themselves throughout this show, so I've kind of appreciated that aspect of their relationship. But Ozzy says that she feels like she found her lifelong mate. She goes on about this rock and this meaning of this rock, and how important this rock is to an individual, and yada yada yada. And then she gives the rock to Sam, and like opens up a wedding ring, like a box, a wedding ring box, and there's a rock in it. Not a ring, a rock. Now let me explain to you guys. The reaction of her here is something that I hope, like, it's gonna turn, like, if you guys remember Marshall from Love Is Blind, the reactions at the reunion, this is going to be that same ballpark. Like, you're gonna see this reaction played so much on television or TikTok or Instagram that I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing, because she's just like got this befuddled look on her face, like, is this it? Like The Rock? Like, I literally told you, if we don't leave here proposed, we're out the door. Like, I'm out the door. But thankfully that wasn't all it was. Ozzy did say that there is more, and gets down on their knee and proposes to Sam. A very awkward kind of yes. A very awkward yes. But I think Sam was still kind of in that shock of what just happened. Did you just propose to me with a rock? Was that the scenario that we're going here with? Like, that's not acceptable. Sorry. The rock is not going to be able to go on my finger. And I'm not talking about like a big ass rock. I'm talking about literally it was a rock. But they share a funny moment together back and forth, about the rock, which was funny. And, Ozzy does ask her if she thought, like, was that it? And she, like, shit, I was confused. Like, I thought it was it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you guys watching this was like, that's it? The rock? That's it? Like, all of this stuff you say, all of these things you gather, just proposing with a rock. But, all right, moving right along to Xander and Vanessa. Woo! Woo! Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. This one's interesting. Vanessa says, I feel like you should talk first. And Xander said she can't imagine her not in her life. She rambles about how much she's taught her, says this experience has been hard, and Vanessa has shown her lots of love and support. And when they leave, it'll be for the better. She said she has dreamt of proposing to her, but doesn't feel right now she feels confident in proposing to her. She says she wishes she could give her the world, but she can't. Vanessa said her heart's been breaking for 2 months and didn't know how this experience would end. And I'll tell you what, and I understand that Vanessa has become the punching bag per se on social media about some of the things that she's done, but the growth that we've seen in her. Now, part of it's the question of the back against the wall thing, the same questions that I had for Mal and Yoli in that scenario. Like, are you only invested because somebody else is in pursuit? The same thing can be said for Vanessa's. Like, are you doing these things because of X, Y, and Z? But Vanessa talks about what she learned and what she's changed over her time on the show. She's been holding out hope for the person that she fell in love with would resurface for her. She wants to feel that love from her badly and being accepted, and has been accepting the breadcrumbs that she's been getting, which is true. You know what I mean? Like watching somebody else fall in love and then sit there and tell her, I'm going to give you 110% of this entire thing. And then you don't really get the 110% from that person, understanding that they're battling in the background with like, they're possibly in love, but maybe not in love, but they're in love. I am love you. I am going to walk away with you, but I'm going to try this, but I'm not going to try this. But she says she thanks her for the 4 years together. They say, I love you. Says, I will always love you and we will meet again if the timing is right. Now, for the meeting that we've all been waiting for. Yoli and Xander. Yoli said she was worried she didn't make the best decision for herself, and has said that if Xander would fight for her, she doesn't know what she would do. They embrace, they giggle, they hold each other for a hot minute. Like everything that you've seen from these two throughout this entire show, it comes alive here. Like the chemistry, the spark, the love, the passion, it's all there between these two. Yoli asked her what, she was with Vanessa, and she said that they agreed it wasn't the best time. Yoli feels that and says, I want this. Like, it's crazy to me. Like, how could you say yes to Mal and then just turn around and be confident in that yes to sit here and have this conversation like nothing ever happened? Like, nothing ever happened. I don't understand. She said she believes that they could work out so well and have a beautiful life together. Yoli asks if she feels confident in them. She says yes, and she says me too. And then Yoli confirms that Mal did propose, and she said yes, but she wasn't sure where Xander was at. And Xander said it was not easy to hear that, and asked if she's confident in her choice. She said she doesn't know. Then why did you say yes? I'm very confused right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very confused in this yes when you're not 100% certain in that yes. Yoli was hoping Xander and Vanessa. I personally feel like Yoli was hoping to go to this meeting and Xander and Vanessa had gotten engaged, because then that would like kind of be easy for her to kind of just walk away and just do this thing with Mal, but that didn't happen. Xander still feels 100% even after hearing Yoli say that. Said it sucks to lose her, and they say they love each other. She said she just wanted to walk off with me. Let's just walk off. They just leave. They just leave together. They embrace. Yoli says, I love you. Said it's so fucking hard. Says, I don't want to leave without you. Yoli said if love was enough, then she would run away with her right now, but she has to see it through. Xander said she trusts her. What does that even mean? Like, you have to see Mal, this engagement through, then maybe, just maybe, I'll be your sloppy seconds. Like, I'm not for this. You know what I mean? She said she's not in love with Mal the way she's in love. She said she isn't in love with Mal the way that she's in love with. Let me get my answers here. Yoli says she isn't in love with Mal the same way she's in love with Xander. Yoli chases down Xander and they embrace, and they say, I'm sorry again. The producers ask Yoli if she made a mistake, and Xander says no. Xander says, I think you guys got enough, and leaves. I want to 100% shout out Xander for laying down the law there and just being like, boom. You know what I mean? Like, this is what, like, you got what you guys got. Like, let me process everything that went down. Like, this woman turned down the woman that she's been with for like 3 years. And of course it's part of the show. It's part of being on the show, but the respect level of understanding that, like, let these people process these moments. Like, the woman that I loved, I left, that I've been with for a long period of time, but now I'm spinning it around and turning it around and trying to fix myself, but also understanding and hearing the person that I was hoping to leave with is now leaving with somebody else engaged, even though they tell me that they love me and all these other things. Like, it's like a lot to process. But yeah, definitely interesting, definitely weird, crazy, wild. What a wild end I forgot. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, Lexi and Ray. Completely forgot about this. My bad. Woo! Lexi and Ray. Ray says she wants to grow old with her. They say a bunch of nice things. Lex says some stuff. Own your shit. Lexi still hasn't owned her shit yet. So blah 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 blah. Ray proposes. She says yes. So surprisingly, we went 4 for 5 on ultimatums in this episode, which is something that I wasn't expecting. I headed over to Reddit, said a few things about what has happened on this show. I had asked some people what they thought. They said, I literally die if Xander stays with Vanessa. Also wish that Ozzy and Sam went to therapy, both independently and couples, because they could be thriving. Totally agree with that. Like I said, one of my favorite couples on the show. Yoli leaves by herself or with Mal. Xander leaves by themselves. They dumped Vanessa. Tiffany and Mildred leave by themselves. I hope Ray and Lexi leave together. Ozzy and Sam leave together. Let's see here. I do hope somebody put, I don't know, but I hope for some accountability for the way Lexi treated Ray and Vanessa. Preach! Preach! Bone Adventure, preach! She was obsessed with Vanessa in a super unhealthy way, mainly because I think she enjoyed tormenting Ray and having control over her. Agree. I want Mal to call out Yoli, call Yoli out for playing them. She's giving her way too much credit in their quote unquote marriage. Yes, everything that is stated here, I 1000% agree. I 1,250 million% agree. Yeah, some great comments. Appreciate those. Thank you guys for listening. Again, I need to hear your thoughts on this episode. Were you surprised to see as many people get back together and stuff like that? Remember, Friday I am reviewing or recapping the reunion. I'm very excited to hear you guys' thoughts about that. Next Wednesday, I will be kicking off my Temptation Island coverage right here on the Love and Reality podcast. If you've never watched that show, don't worry. You don't need to watch any of the other seasons to understand what is happening on Temptation Island. Temptation Island is kind of like the Ultimatum, but it's on an island. You're basically going there. You're with your person. You're trying to verify they are the right person. But here are 16 men and women that are single, ready to pounce on your significant other. So it's going to be on USA Network starting June the 14th. Look forward to talking, discussing, and recapping that show with you guys each and every week. But don't forget, this Friday, I will be tackling the reunion. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll talk to you guys on Friday.